Hey Joy family, coming to you with another broker update today. Got a couple of good things to talk to you about. The first thing I want to talk to you about is something that is occurring more and more often, and I want to make sure you all have the right and correct information about this, and that is escalation clauses. These are becoming more prevalent because there is, in fact, this is kind of a seller's market and there are multiple offers going on, and every now and again you may either be asked by a buyer to write an escalation clause, or you may be on the receiving end as a listing agent of an escalation clause. So I want to clear up some of the truths about that and some of the myths about the escalation clauses. First thing I want you to know is they are not illegal. They're technically not unethical. However, the Association of Realtors, the national, state, and even local, greatly discourage the use of the escalation clause. Their point is that the escalation clause is very negative, or it is unhelpful for the buyer. It exposes the buyer completely because there's usually a cap that is part of the escalation clause. And the escalation clause will say something like, I will pay $1,000 more than the highest bid for the property, up to $120,000 or $300,000 or whatever it is. So it really exposes the seller and what they're capable of doing. The other difficulty happens. What happens if you get two with escalation clauses? Then you got two people that immediately go right to the top of what they're capable of offering, which is not beneficial for certainly beneficial for any of the buyers. Likewise, it is not beneficial for the seller, because again, if you're going to have an escalation clause that goes up fairly high, it could be that it gets out of the range to where it would even appraise for the value. So there's really no value in it for the seller. So generally, our policy here is don't use the escalation clauses. Just tell people if they want to do something like that, tell them, hey, just put in your best offer. What would you like? What would you like it to be? Now, with that being said, if you're representing a seller and you do get an escalation clause, the appropriate response to the buyer's agent is something along the lines of, we discourage the escalation clauses. Now, it doesn't mean you can't tell them no necessarily, but you got to work with your seller. And here's the key: is you need to tell the other buyer that we discourage the use of escalation clauses. And if you insist, or if you'd like to use the escalation clause, then we are going to have to get an attorney review because that's legal language. Many times that'll head it off for the buyers. So then you just go back to that buyer's agent and say, hey, just give us your best offer from there. Likewise, if you have a buyer that is insistent upon writing an escalation clause, you cannot go do that. You can't go copy it from the internet or anything else. You have to get an attorney to write the escalation clause. So maybe that will discourage your buyers from wanting to do that as well. Anyway, I want to clear up a few of the misconceptions about that. Other than that, I want to make the announcement about our social media training. Sonia, our social media coordinator, one of our social media coordinators, is going to be in here here at the Malden office at the headquarters on the 27th of August at 9:30. And she's going to go over some of the kind of how to create flyers using Breakthrough Broker and how to post to Facebook using Breakthrough Broker and that sort of thing. So if that's something you need a little brush up on and you need to understand about that, bring your laptop on in here, and then and she'll sit down and she'll take some time and go over that with you. Hope you enjoyed the update. I'll send another one out next week.